Welcome to the season finale of Wockonzo Weekly. My name is Sareth Ney, and every single week I shine a light on some of my pals in the writing or creative industry. I'll just do that. Um, of all backgrounds. And it was quite a journey for the first season of for this year. I couldn't even believe that I had like over 90 live streams, whether it was like me flying solo um, or uh, just having guests on the shows. Uh, Definitely helped out with keeping the shows, like the days, separate from each other. Instead of, if I didn't have this, I'd probably forget which day it was. So I'm glad that it's the end of the month, and I'm taking like a break off from all of this, and for sober October, maybe a little longer. I need to just get away from it all, just for the time being. But this week, I'm gonna have my friend Kevin on the show, Kevin Mangold. Um, Hopefully, he joins me in the studio in a little bit. But a little background on him: a couple of weeks ago, we did a show together on Saturday night, Cenobites, and I got to interview him about his film career and his television career and what he does behind the scenes and all that good stuff. And so we met in LA and all that good stuff. Yeah, it's gonna be pretty rad. Hopefully, he jumps in the studio and we get to talk some more about his what he's done. Um, should be a short episode for this one though, because we'll talk about his books and that he's written, and also some of the creatures that he's done. That he was character acting, I believe. So around Disneyland and all that good stuff. But and but while we're waiting on him to do this stuff, I guess I will talk about my writing career and how it all started. So I I think I'd say like English is my second language, and so I had to take a bunch of ESL classes growing up. Um, and so so it was a bit difficult because my parents were Cambodian, or Khmer was their first language. Um, so I pretty much had to rely on TV and film to teach me how to speak English. Uh, but it was pretty challenging. So that was Kevin. He messaged me on Twitter, um, and he says I'll have to email him the link. So that was him. So he'll be in here soon. So we won't get into all that writing stuff, I guess. But and then probably we'll talk about it in season 2 of this whole thing. But while I'm waiting for Kevin, um, uh, I'm hoping to get him some more followers, some during the COVID times, and since we're all on lockdown still, and hopefully get him some people visiting his website. And his website is pretty neat. So I'll have that scrolling on the bottom here for you. So you can go visit his website. That's Dogpile Productions, or you can also follow him on Twitter. It's Kevin Mangold, kevinmangold.com, and a bunch of other stuff there. So his IMDb, his LinkedIn, and all that good stuff. So yeah, he has a huge resume dating back to the 80s, and I'm like, good lord, that's a lot of film work that he's done. So um, let's see here. So hopefully he's coming in here, and we'll talk about his interesting life as working at Disneyland and being on a national, uh, one of the commercials that we didn't cover, so we'll talk about that stuff too. So, and his music video works. But yeah, I'm trying to, as you can see, trying to kill some time here, and hopefully there's people in the chat too. So, if you have any questions or anything for Kevin, you're more than welcome to join in on the chat and be nice to him. That'd be awesome. But yeah, it's been quite a fun live streaming interviews for the time being here. But here's Kevin. Hey, Kevin, how are you, pal?
Good. How are you?
Great, thank you. New background, AC.
Oh yeah, I just kind of turned it around. Same room. Armando had a show last time, so he had a poster up and all that. But so this is just same room, but without a background put up now.
Awesome, fantastic. I like the Brightburn poster.
Then oh, right on. There. Yeah, and then there's Captain Fantastic, and then let me see. There's Armando's poster on the end. That's the terrible old Tran on the end, and Brightburn and Captain Fantastic right there.
Oh, fantastic! Indeed.
Good to see you.
Great to see you too. Thank you for joining me on the show today.
My pleasure.
Indeed. So we covered pretty much your film career and your television career behind the scenes and in front of the camera. And so for this show, this portion of this new show of Wockonzo Weekly, it's half Gonzo and half Waka Waka Waka. So those are my Fozzie's like my other favorite.
All right.
Muppet Baby. So I just combine those words together.
Okay.
Indeed. So let's see here. Let's talk about you have 2 books that you've written. There Are No Grown-Ups is the first one. What's the story behind There Are No Grown-Ups?
It's actually 16, maybe 17, I think, short stories. I think it's 16 short stories. And they all kind of link together through a town called Malton, which is bad town, in Spanish, Mal town. So it's basically the thing that strings them all together is growing up, problems in childhood, problems in growing up. And so they all string that together. They're somewhat from my life, but then storytelling based on things from my life. So it's 16 short stories. And I guess, There Are No Grown-Ups kind of summarizes my feeling on the whole thing, that we're all kind of in charge of ourselves. There really, isn't anyone to listen to because they won't tell you the right thing.
Absolutely. And you also wrote another book called The Track, and I'm guessing it's about your jockey days.
Yeah, that's actually the screenplay I finished years ago, but I'm still in the works working on the novel because, a screenplay just can't get into the details of a story. And so the novel that I'm working on, The Track, the novel is really detailed, entirely real experiences that I had from the racetrack. And it kind of, the characters are some me, some put together people that I experienced, people that I, good and bad people that I experienced in the racing industry, and tells a lot of crazy stories. And so I'm looking forward to finishing the novel. The track, the screenplay would be very difficult to make. I've actually kind of thought it through. I could completely make it with existing racing footage, but I wouldn't want to put horses in the sort of danger that the screenplay talks about.
Most definitely. I see them on TV, and they always have the races on at the casinos and stuff. So
yeah,
that's a bit rough to watch for me too. So
yeah,
indeed. And you also did some work with Disney, and I saw that on your website. You were Chippendale and Pinocchio, Robin Hood.
Yeah, I played a lot of suit characters for about 2 years at Disneyland right out of college, and I played all of them. Mickey, I didn't play Minnie. Minnie was much smaller than me, but I played Mickey, Chippendale. Oh man, I can't even remember all of them. I played so many, but ultimately I wound up doing Peter Pan, which is a face character. That doesn't have the big head on, so it's just your face. And so once I got in Peter Pan, then I played Peter Pan, for about 1.5 years. And that was getting to run around the park and play with people and take pictures. I got to climb up the pirate ship and just have lots of fun, playing at Disney. My job was to play at Disneyland.
Most definitely, indeed. And what was it like to be in those big old costumes? Did they weigh a lot? Were they hot in there, or what's?
Somehow I can handle the heat really well. I mean, yes, they're hot in there, and when you take the head off, you're pouring down sweat. But you just really get into the characters so much. Like, what's fascinating about it is when you smile, even though people can't see you inside, you're still smiling. Smile. And, you make all the expressions that you would if you didn't have the suit on. It's just a way of portraying who the character is, and there is nothing more fun than being in a costume character, especially one that has the ability. For me, one that has the ability to run and jump. Like I played like some dogs. I was the official mascot of the Beach Boys, where I got to play a skateboarding bear, and I literally would jump and roll and just just be an animal for a minute. And so the characters, at Disneyland, obviously you're much more protected. You can't, Mickey couldn't dive roll anywhere, but being in a costume suit is, now I do it more in the movies. I do more suit work for creature suit for movies, doing, combining stunt work and creature suits. But for me, playing a costume suit, just like a character, a Disney character, is so much fun. It's hard to top that.
Most definitely, indeed. And yeah, the character that for the Beach Boys was Little Bro. And how were the fellas that were the Beach Boys? How were they?
Well, I didn't get to hang out with them much. I mean, we were, on stage occasionally, as we were going on, they were coming off. But we would go into the town before them, and we would go to all the malls, and we would warm up for them. And we had a video game, forget what, Camp California. That there was a video game that we would promote. There was, Beach Boys there was their music, and it was a Beach Boys game. And so we went around and promoted that. And then for a little while there was Little Bro, and I forget who the other characters, I forget who they were now. I feel bad for, there were three bears. There were three of us. And for a little while there, they were toys given out at, I think it was McDonald's. It was either McDonald's or Burger King, maybe. I think they gave them away at Burger King. So we did a lot of promotional stuff for that. And so it was basically promoting Camp California, which was the mascot of the Beach Boys at the time. So I was one of the official mascots of the Beach Boys. And I got to like skateboard on stage, for our performances. We would go on stage with skateboards, and I would, on my hands, in the big bear suit, I'd do backflips. And I think there's some videos on my website, in fact, of me doing a back handsprings in the big bear suit, the giant bear head, and skateboarding on my hands. Like I would push the skateboard, get it going, and then stand on my hands on the skateboard in the giant bear suit. So I got to do a lot of cool stuff like that. And in the malls, we would pack them in. There would be, I don't know how many, but it seemed to me like rows and rows and rows of people, kids mostly, who were there to see, all the characters and see, see the Beach Boys, of course.
Indeed, most definitely. There's two characters that I'm not familiar with, Zamigami and Z. So what are those two characters?
They're gummy bear characters. Gummy Bears was a cartoon that ran for a while, and they were in Disneyland for a little while.
Indeed. And then I remember Peter Rabbit. So you played as Peter Rabbit.
At Easter, I used to do Peter Rabbit for a lot of mall, like Fashion Island in Orange County. For a couple of years in a row, 3 or 4 years in a row, I was the Peter Rabbit. So, we would just take pictures. I would take pictures, and that's pretty tame. I wouldn't get to, with the exception of coming and going from wherever the backstage was, I wouldn't really get to do a whole lot of character, animating, but I would just kind of sit in a chair and take lots of pictures all day, which gets boring.
Indeed, most definitely. And you also were Papa Smurf too, and you were Brainy Smurf at the meet and greet in Santa Clara at the Marriott's Great America Song of the Smurfs.
Yeah, I love that. I did Papa Smurf a couple times, but I was Brainy Smurf. That was my character, was Brainy Smurf, and I was in the Song of the Smurfs. It's a show, not Disney. It was a show that was at Marriott's Great America, where I played Brainy Smurf. And then I also went around the park when we weren't doing the show. We'd go around the park and take pictures with people. And so I got to be Brainy Smurf all day. And Brainy is an awesome character. I really got into the head of, I don't know if you watch the Smurfs ever, but for me, I'm in my 50s. So I watched the Smurfs, years ago when I was 12 or 13 or something. And I loved the Smurfs. And so Brainy Smurf was who I wanted to be. That's the one. And so I had a chance to go be Brainy Smurf, and I totally got into his head. And it was one of my first acting experiences. I got to be Brainy Smurf. So for the most part, I just danced on stage and took pictures with people. But I was brainy for a little bit there.
Most definitely, indeed. And one of the commercials that we didn't talk about during our first interview was the Toyota Highlander National commercial. What was that? Those shoots like?
I stunt doubled for a kid. He ran and jumped into the back of a car. It didn't run for very long because I think they said it was dangerous or something. I've had quite a few commercials like that where we do, I'm a stuntman, so where we do dangerous things and then they get pulled because they say it's just too dangerous. And that was one of them. But it was the dad pulled up in a car and the kid runs out of school and he jumps into the back, jumps into the back of the car. So that's what that one was.
Awesome. And then one more that we'll cover, because we covered the rest of the other stuff, and that was quite the lengthy interview, was you were in a music video called If I Only Had a Brain, called by MC 900 featuring Jesus.
Yeah, that was Spike Jonze, the famous director Spike Jonze. He directed that. And when I was in college, he asked me, a teacher, one of my college teachers knew him somehow. And so he was looking for somebody who could do stunts and stuff, crazy stuff. And this was right before Jackass started. And so I literally went out with Spike Jonze all over town, and we filmed we filmed like a bunch of different commercials and stuff. And so this was a music video after I'd done all of these stunts and things. It might have been the other way around, but I was doing stunts for Spike Jonze. And so what we did was we took a big giant box, and mounted a camera to the base of it, and then the whole box would spin around along with the camera, so I could be upside down, I could flip around. And so if you watch, it's a really great music video. It's basically he puts himself in a box and he ships the singer, the main singer. He puts himself in a box and he ships himself all over the place, and so you see the box bouncing and falling. And every now and then they cut to, well, a lot of times they cut to him. He's drinking tea and he's doing different things in the box. But sometimes he's bouncing around, he's flipping and he's falling, and that's me. And he was 7 feet tall or something. He's huge. He's this giant guy. And MC 900 Foot Jesus. I forget the name of the singer, but he's huge, and I'm 5 feet tall, and so it's really hilarious because they didn't buy like double clothes or anything. What they did was in a lot of cases, when I double the actor, they just take the clothes and they swap them out, and I wear the same clothes. And so his shirt was dangling down, and I was wearing, like, his clothes were huge. I looked miniature. I looked like a miniature. And so anyway, you might notice it if you watch the video. You'll see I'm wearing his clothes, and I'm walking on my hands and flipping and doing all that stuff. But you can see the shirt is just dangling down because it was all so big. So, but he's doing well. I think he's still doing music now and stuff. And, that was one of his first videos, and it was for Spike Jonze, of course, in beginning his career. One of his, might have been his very first music video, in fact. So.
Indeed, that's pretty neat. I thought it was like featuring Jesus, so it's good to know that his whole name is MC 900.
Yeah.
Foot Jesus. So that'd be interesting if you did a song with Jesus, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, that would.
Indeed. Are there any other music videos that you're in or plan on being a part of?
I've been in quite a few. It would be hard for me to think of them offhand. I mean, I know they're all on my site. I'd probably have to look. I'm kind of looking up at my site right now to see. Not offhand I can think of. I've been in quite a few music videos, but I can't really offhand think of any. But been in like over 30 or 40 commercials now, and really I don't remember how many music videos. I've produced 3 or 4 music videos now that I've directed and produced and shot. So I kind of started out acting in them and then moved over to producing and directing.
Awesome. Which ones were they?
That's a great question. I'd have to go. Let me go. I've got quite a few of them. Let me see.
Okay.
Got like 5 of them. I have a hard time always remembering the details of. Let's see. One of them I remember we had lots of. Let me go to video production. I'm going to dogpileproductions.com, and then I'm just going to go to video production and check out which one, because I know I had one where we shot it out in Palm Springs with lots of the big windmills. And trying to think, and we had one that was we shot in a whole bar, country music that was shot in a bar set. but I'm just waiting for my website. But again, if you go to dogpileproductions.com, I'll you're able to watch them all. Let me see here. I've got Miles Away by Gregor Ross. You could probably look that up, and that's a country one that we shot in a bar, and it's a really good country song. Dear Umadi by Farshid Amin. He's he has a big following outside of the US, and his video probably is the most seen video that I've ever directed. And if you have a chance to see that, that's one that was in Palm Springs, and it's some really amazing drone footage and just picturesque. It's really nice. But I've done The Cruelest Joke by Mad Ohm. It's really we shot that right on Hollywood Boulevard using the Michael Jackson lookalike. And so again, if you want to go check these out, there's Alone by Neutrino. There's an artist named Neutrino that we did it's a rap song, and we did again use really nice drone footage of him walking around kind of a desolate town. And then Sheriff by Anthony Gatlin, which Sheriff is a completely animated. It's all like a train of thought. Whenever he says a word, the words come up animated, and there's images, and so. But again, if you go to dogpileproductions.com and then just go to film production, you can see all kinds of different, go to music videos, and you can see, in fact, I think if you just go to dogpileproductions.com/music, you can see all the music videos.
Wow. Yeah, it's definitely a dog pile for sure with all the stuff that you work on. And
yeah, that's why I call it dog pile. Yeah, we kind of just pile it all on. I do everything. Yeah, because I didn't want to say, I do just color correction or I do just sound recording. We do all of it. We do the whole film production. We do all of it. So,
man, that's pretty neat.
Thank you.
You're welcome, indeed. And so, always make sure all to the subscribers to check out both websites for Kevin. That'd be awesome. Send him some traffic that way, and follow him on Twitter and all that good stuff. Is there any other final words you'd like to share with the audience this evening, Kevin?
No, other than I hope everybody's being safe and healthy, and getting through this best you can, staying in touch with people that you care about, letting them know you care about them. It's important right now, and stay at whatever keeps you busy and keeps your mind working on positive things. Stay at that. That's what I would hopefully leave it at.
Indeed, that's what I'm going to focus on starting tomorrow for Sober October, and getting away from all of this. Well, it's fun doing the live stream interviews with everyone, but like getting away from social media and all that stuff, I just need to just get away from it all and pick up some new hobbies for this new season.
Nice. Take a break for a while.
Indeed. Yeah, I know that you have beef with Facebook, so I thought, well, I'm just going to leave everything behind for the time being. And
Facebook. Yeah, I haven't been on Facebook for years. So much better for it. It's a mess.
It is, absolutely. That's why I can't wait to leave the whole thing.
Yeah,
but
good for you.
Thank you. And I'll pick up something new and exciting, because after a while I just get bored with some things after 4 or 5 years with stuff. So we'll see what happens next.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing what you do.
Absolutely, looking forward to what you do next too, Kevin. And it's an honor to interview you through both your film works and your TV and all that good stuff. And I'm glad we got to cover the rest of the bases this time around.
Thank you. Likewise. Always good to see you, Sareth.
Right back at you, Kevin. We'll see you next time. Take care.
All right. Bye.
Bye. And that's this week's season finale of Wockonzo Weekly, and we'll see you next season. Awesome.